Hello everyone, Pallytime here, and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 3. Our first campaign with Grimgore Ironhide set off last episode, and you guys came out of the woodwork. So many positive comments down beneath that video. I just want to let you know that I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. The goal for this series is going to, I want to make bite-sized episodes that you can sit down and watch almost every day, and we can progress through our campaign relatively quickly. So to recap, we've taken over most of the Path to the East territory. Our army was successful in 2 battles, although they are kind of licking their wounds right now. Off camera, I did recruit some orc boys. I want to just show you how to do that really fast for any of you following along at home. We just click on our army. We want to recruit units, and we are allowed to recruit 4 in this region. We're able to recruit the Orc Boys because they come from the Muster Fields building, which is in our capital at Saber Mountains right now. What we're really looking for is for growth to actually start to take hold on this region. We have a progress bar on the left, and we want the growth of this region to have a surplus of 1 so we can upgrade our greenskin hideout in Saber Mountains to be a greenskin camp. Once we do that, we'll be able to start to get some tier 2 upgrades. For instance, we can upgrade the Muster Fields into the Brawling Grounds, which will give us access to orc archers instead of goblin archers. But we can also start to research more advanced combat tactics, like getting more siege weapons out on the battlefield, or possibly recruiting trolls to help us. Remember, we do have a non-aggression pact with our neighbor to the northeast. Unfortunately, I don't know how good that's gonna be, really. I'm looking at this guy now, and his strength rating is 243. There are 275 factions in this game. This guy might be run over in an instant, and we might have to make friends with someone else. But hey, I at least tried for a little diplomacy. Our units are going to take some time to recruit and also take some time to heal, and we are officially going to end our first turn right now. 2 factions were completely annihilated as the turns rolled. Oh no. Well, one of those factions was our next door neighbor. He's been taken over by the Heralds of Tempest, the 12th strongest army in the game right now. And it's gonna cost 4,600 gold to convince them to have a non-aggression pact with me. That's not going to happen. So we're gonna have to really start to up the power of our army quite rapidly, because this guy is a gigantic threat. To go along with that, we're going to recruit even more orc boys to our army. Maybe not that many. We can only have 20 platoons of units at a time, so we want to make sure we stay relatively balanced. I think orcs tend to, this is my impression anyway, this may be wrong. Keep in mind, I am no expert at this game. My impression is that orc armies tend to run more melee than ranged, so I don't want to overdo it with our goblin archers here, but we should have a little range to help out if we need them. His strength didn't change, right? He's still 12th. My army right now has a strength. I'm ranked 115 in strength. So even with those upgrades, this guy is still very far ahead of me. Grimgore does have an opportunity to level up, so I'm going to get choppers. This is going to increase his weapon strength by 10%. That takes his weapon strength from 500 to 550 with just the click of a button. He should be hitting super hard. As far as what we want to research as orcs, that kind of jumbled together, we're going to get Go Bigger. It's going to increase our growth, which again is what we are kind of waiting on to start to get some better upgrades here. And just like that, turn 2 is done. Orcs are still healing up. We're still recruiting. Nice and easy. On turn 3, next turn will give us that population surplus that we need to actually start moving in the right direction with our buildings. Our army is not entirely full yet, so we can try recruiting a couple more orc boys. But I might have a better idea for how to increase our army's strength. And I believe it is unique to the orc armies. So I'm going to move to just the edge of my influence here. This yellow line that you could see on the ground is the edge of my borders. As long as I'm in my borders, I can continue to recruit. And I'm going to bring in 2 more groups of orc boys. Now, up at the top of the screen, you can see our treasury as well as our predicted income for this turn. We have to pay unit upkeep for every single unit in our army because, of course, they need to be fed, they need supplies, and that isn't free, that isn't cheap. So having a huge army like this could be problematic, but I'm going to use them, I think anyway, this is the plan, to push into Blizzard Peak. If I can kill the leader of Blizzard Peak, I might be able to expand my army rapidly and then take care of this gigantic looming threat to the north. Speaking of which, it looks like their army is continuing to expand as a small army is forming outside of their gates. That might be heading towards me. That's a little scary. Okay, at the start of turn 4, we can finally upgrade our building for $1,500. That's going to take 3 turns to finish. Our growth is looking great, and we'll be able to start upgrading Ice Spewer soon as well. We are going to head our army directly up to the gates and maybe take over our full province here. I am curious to see what Auto Resolve thinks our chances of winning this. Pyrrhic victory means we are going to lose some units, but it's not showing me that with the Auto Resolve. One thing we could try to do is encircle this place, basically starve them out. This is the only spot that this guy has. Art of Fullity, this is his only building. So if I encircle it, he's not going to be going anywhere. And that gives me plenty of time to keep researching. As long as these guys don't move towards us, by the way, they are 9 on strength now, we should be fine. So we have a tactical siege around this place. When it looks like we'll be able to move in easily and strike, we will take our chance. The flesh greeters have been destroyed. I'm pretty sure they're the ones we had the non-aggression pact with. Uh-oh. If I am encircling an... Wait a minute. Ublug? Who's this? Who are you sending off over here? He's out of my range. I can't chase after him, unfortunately. Does that mean your defenses here are weaker? No, they don't. Now, if I am encircling this place, they do have the opportunity to come out and meet me on the field of battle. Basically, I'm choosing to not fight inside their city walls in hopes that they just get so weak that they starve or that they get tired of being encircled and push into me. We get to pick another big thinking research project. Let's go with Go Faster. This will allow me to move across the campaign map even easier. We have a development to the east. We're in between turns right now. This is looking kind of sketchy. That army we saw forming is actually pushing after one of the Tusk-Sun Greenskins, the one we saw leave this place. So one of the strongest armies in the game is moving towards our territory. We need to make a move on this now. It says close victory. I don't believe it. Get me in there. And here we really see it for the first time. My future city that we will definitely be taking. Gigantic skeleton in the middle of it. Whoa, that looks crazy. I haven't placed my army yet. I'm not sure how I want to attack this place. I just wanted to get a good look around at everything. before we moved in. So because we encircled these guys, they are going to be a little weaker. I don't know how much I want to spread out here. These are kind of narrow entrances, though. This is looking a little better, and I might be able to use the high ground up here with my archers if I could push in. To the south, the majority of the orc boys, along with Grimgore, will be pushing the widest entrance into the city. We have a smaller platoon of melee that are going to be moving up the small ramp to the right while the main army pushes through the main gate. On the western flank, another group of orc boys will be pushing through a smaller entrance, with all of our goblin archers behind them in full support. If we can move in and breach this side, I can then use the bridge above to rain down hell on any would-be defenders. That's our plan. Let's see how it works out. Grimgore sending the armor forward, melee boys moving to the right, artillery picking a target and shredding it before anyone even gets close. And here we go, the western flank starting to move in as well, meeting very little opposition on that western side. They are going to run directly through that. You know, in fact, what if we delay our advance here a little bit, boys? If they're not afraid of us, if they're not coming out to meet us, we don't need to run in there, do we? We can let the artillery do its work for a moment. Although they are routing a large number of forces to the west, so maybe this wasn't the right play. However, moving up on their flank should be even easier now. Orc boys on the west starting to get in range. The archers already peppering the goblin spear infantry, trying to hold that down. I'm actually going to have our artillery help on the right here a little bit more. I think these orc boys will be able to hold quite well, but they got a lot of spearmen they're going to have to push through there. Okay, our main army is starting to set. Let's make sure they position properly. We don't want to all concave on the same enemy. We want to kind of have a wide line here. I sent Grimgore directly after the goblin, or after the giant. I want him to send a message. We're also going to debuff the giant's damage. Oh, I can only use that on lords and heroes. Okay, that's no problem. The giant takes a big swing at our orc boys as they're passing by, but then notices Grimgore right behind him. Our orcs are going to continue to head after the archers on that left side. And here we go. We're starting to look like we can get a good flank on these goblin archers who have been caught out. That giant already taking a lot of damage as well. Orc boys on the right moving into those spearmen, no problem. The western flank is pushing in really, really well. I'm going to continue to move my goblins up a little bit just to make sure that they are getting as much accuracy bonuses as they can. The giant that was trying to hold down the entrance is being cut to pieces. Only a third of his life remaining right now. And it looks like we're actually pushing the goblins back on the left as well. This push is looking great. I've just noticed the leader of the orc army. He's up on that bridge I wanted to take over, and he's running down the hill towards the main entrance, trying to get into the thick of the fight now. Is he too late, though? Was he too slow? How's our artillery doing? I might be able to get a new target for them on some archers on the left. The giant is routing, and some sword orcs walked right by my main army. This should allow us to get a really easy surround here and cut these guys down to size immediately. I'm going to send some of my swordmen after the archers retreating on the right flank. Grimgore is going to meet the enemy leader head on as he breaks off from these swordsmen. And here he comes, about to clash. Let's make sure that we debuff the enemy hero, reduce his damage that he's going to be dealing. We also want to make sure that any unit we can have help out in the area is definitely helping out. The western flank is finally pushing in as some of the goblins are breaking in the area. The duel between the leaders, however, is drastically one-sided. With every swing of Grimgore's axe, he is just cleaving pounds of flesh off of this orc, and it's actually forced him to break. He is retreating. He's trying to leave battle, and now our calves are being pulled in, being idle this entire time. No one can outrun a good cavalry. There he goes. He's fallen. Push further into the base. The flank on the west is moving in behind this army as well. Their moments are numbered. As they take over that control point, all of the fortifications on this side fall as well, and we're starting to see armies rout away from this conflict. Our large group of orcs have been holding down the right side of the entrance this entire time. The western flank has moved into the middle of the city and is controlling that point as Grimgore moves over the bridge, chasing down the final of the greenskins, trying to hold the high ground. One more swing from Grimgore should make these guys run in terror as these goblins begin to rout. I'm moving Grimgore towards that central capture location. The western flank was hit hard by some melee guys as they tried to recapture that point, but it looks like we're holding just fine. And I'm sending a small group of orc boys to intercept some spearmen that are running in to assist. The western flank is holding as the enemy is starting to break. I'm just going to have them focus fire the one remaining healthy platoon there. Grimgore is officially on the central capture position, and with that, the enemy orcs forfeit. Tough battle. I think I could have microed a little bit better. We took a lot of damage in some cases, but I did not lose a single group of orcs here, so I'm pretty happy with that. And with that, we were victorious. I did worse than what the auto-resolve said I was going to do. That kind of feels bad. The entirety of this army has been eliminated, and we control our starting province now. I'm going to choose just to occupy this building. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Ardra Fullateeth, leader of the Tusk Sons tribe, has been defeated. The Greenskins tribal hierarchy is brutal, but simple. Bash in enough heads and take enough loot. Sooner or later, you're going to get some mobs and become a war boss. Beat up another war boss in battle, and his mobs will become yours too. Since loyalty is a concept that neither orcs or goblins really care for. We can confederate his army to join ours. Granted, we just kind of beat him up pretty bad, so they're not going to be in the best health. But we take over our province and grow our army just like that. However, our army is now in the face of that enemy that is coming up that hill. So let's fall back to safety here, hopefully be somewhat close to our main building. Now, we do have some injured orc boys here. What we can do is select two groups and have these merge together. This will free up an army slot, but it will instantly heal these guys if there's enough units missing that their armies can merge. Now that we've done that, I should be able to take some of the extra soldiers out of this guy who just joined us, out of his command, and bring them into ours. But I think because he can't move anymore this turn, I actually can't do that just yet. Grimgore gets the opportunity to level up again, and wouldn't you know, his weapons start to hurt even more. Scram levels up as well. He now has his war boar, so he's going to be riding into battle on beast back. Let's make his charge damage even better, so when he does impact an army, they feel it. Next turn, we will have another population surplus, so I can upgrade the greenskin hideout in Ice Spewer. We're also going to finally get our upgrade done in our main base and start to upgrade not only our normal infantry, but unlock some additional technology as well. Because we hold the entire province, we can now decide what this province will focus on. I'm going to go with control and growth. That will simply make it so we get those population surpluses even faster, and we can tech up even faster. But as the sun sets on turn 6, so does our video today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to get big upgrades tomorrow. There is a massive threat to the east that could wipe us out at a moment's notice. But maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to hold. Take care, guys. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye.